So I'm thinking, I think we need to have a test case for like a real test case.
Yeah.
Because okay, let's say that we're gonna clear a gap, okay? Um, the way that I would imagine it is um, well, you need to have a lot of space and room before, okay? Which it may be not great, but I would imagine that like in Superman, whenever you have um, before you do the jump, because once you do the jump, then we know that you're stuck, to that
Yeah.
particular um, position. But so we need to do before you do the jump, while you're running. It would be interesting to see if you enter precision mode while you're running. I think it would be cool if you could actually place your target there, and the logic would be you need to time it correctly in order for that point that you target be possible to clear.
I know what you mean. I do agree in the sense that I think the way we should really do this is if you're in precision mode, you set a target
Yeah,
and then that's where we jump to. We then you then configure the input or whatever the animation to that point. Because at the moment you jump and we pick a jump and then we saying, oh, like the way we have it now works. You know what I mean? It works, like the system we have what makes sense. But I don't think I know exactly what you mean. I think the better way is how we first discussed it as well, is again, we pick the jump based on where the user wants to go, but it's not a case of like we blend that midair. It's like we select the jump
yeah,
once they've selected their precision point. So I think it could be a case of when we're in precision mode, we slow down time. You're
yeah,
still running, but
yeah,
you're almost removed from the player, and you move the precision
yeah,
wherever you want to stick, or you select to aim to a specific point. And then when we release the precision mode, that's the point that you're going to target.
yeah, exactly. But I think that point should only be in the line of sight, not in the line of sight, but like to on a point on the get forward vector because we don't want to deviate um, from the axis, because you're gonna run straight and 99% of the jumps they're gonna go straight, right? uh, so because we don't want to have that you choose a point which is 5 meters on your left and then the jump would be totally like, yeah, wrong.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah, no, 100%. So if we have it where, okay, this makes sense. So if we have it where, okay, so we change the mechanics. So instead of it being you jump, then we allow you whether you input you're successful. We change it so that you jump. Oh no, before you jump, um, yeah, before you jump, we go. If you're in precision mode,
Yeah,
okay, and you input this jump command, it's still running, but or whatever. But you then have a period of time to select like closer or further, where exactly you want to jump to. So it could be we could have. I'm thinking we have a little like you know how they have like when you throw a grenade, you see a little arc. So like not you could no, or just like some kind of pointer that allows us to identify the exact point at which we want to jump to. And then upon releasing, like you said again, upon releasing that precision modifier, we then take that point as the sync point for our jump.
yeah,
and then we choose the best jump based on that. That's our new setting point. We
Yeah,
choose the best
yeah,
based on that.
yeah. Because it's only a one-dimensional value. You know,
Yeah,
we don't. You know, we don't even have to have two axes. Later on for axes, we only need to choose distance. And then we, you know, and then we interpolate based on our forward vector, right, which is our direction. And but yeah, we only basically need the scalar. So in order to get, and that is a lot easier than, you know, choosing a point in free space, right, with the controller. We can even do it with the up and down in the left in the right trigger, right? I would expect that your right no trigger, your right thumb stick. So the right thumb stick, if you go up, if you go up, you go further. If you go down, you go closer, right? And then you just swing, like, you know, that distance there. You control the distance with moving up and down in the right thumb. And yeah, and then at the end of that timer, that is exactly where you're gonna land. I mean, and we know that we know the range of the animations that we have. So
yeah. We limit what you can move forward and backwards by that range of animation.
yeah, the only variable there then I think we should have is you need to choose which type of jump though. We are not gonna play the jump, okay? But you know, you go into precision mode and you say, okay, cut pass to there, and then you choose the cut pass, or I don't know, or maybe you choose the cut pass and then you can go into precision. I don't know, but you need to choose the jump.
Because we need to, because otherwise there's gonna be a responsiveness problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If we did precision mode cat pass,
Yeah.
that's fine because we could sort of freeze time, just make them keep running basically, but sort of freeze time, and then basically we then say, okay, well you have however long to whatever time threshold, like you said, to then select this point. And again, this point then, the point in which how we move it is dependent on the mocap animation for the animation. So if we say, oh, you can precision anywhere between 1 and 5 meters in front of you, you mean? Then we say, okay, well you can move that kind of way. For the cat pass, whereas for the dash fault, you can precision between 1 and 2 meters. So we move that far.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
and we already have that data. Yeah.
Yeah. So then once we do that, then we're laughing because it's just a case of then, oh, so we pause time, or freeze time, slow down time, whatever, real slow. Say, okay, you've got 3 seconds to select where you want to jump to precisely, and once that 3 seconds is over, or you release the precision modifier, whatever, that's the exact point at which you're going to jump to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then of course, you know, we're gonna see how to make it harder to have to be more precise, but that will come later, right?
Yeah, I think that. Plus, I think this is better than this mechanic at the moment because it's there's more control in your landing point.
Yeah, because it will always feel weird if you can precision on something that we said you're gonna go. Yeah, like
It's like, oh, I'm jumping. He's like, you're gonna go here, by the way, and then you're like, oh, damn, that's not. And it's like you're gonna stick. Oh, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's too far. I'll try and stick it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, if we got the trigger for the first person camera in the right shoulder, right? I'm thinking, what if we switch all the cameras with the Y button, like with the triangle bit, right? And we switch every camera in that. Like the first person camera is just another camera. It's just no different from the follow camera or for the ordinary camera. And by freeing the right shoulder, maybe the right shoulder is the button for precision.
I was gonna use the right shoulder today.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Because every time I was like, I did all my code. I was like, oh, okay, look, let's test it out. Went to test it out, and it put me in first person. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, yeah. So it comes natural, right?
Natural, yeah. Right shoulder was my instinct, and it's cool as well because precision on then as an input they're quite difficult to do, but if you get the hang of it, they'll become simple. Sort of like players that are able to use like Call of Duty, they're able to use like tacticals, like throwing knives or flashbangs and stuff. It's everyone can really do it, but when you first start off, it's a bit awkward to do it while you're moving or while you're like shooting and things like that. But then you get used to it, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, it's a basic move, yeah, because the shoulder buttons are so like you just flick off one to the other. So I can just imagine it easy to press RB, RT, flip out, you know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And the beauty of that is that it doesn't interfere with the low-level player. They just want to go around and do a cut pass on everything, like me.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like we said, yeah, like you can run around cat pass whatever you want, but if you want to be more precise in exactly where you're landing, we have this cool little precision mechanic for you.
Yeah, I think it's and I like the fact that there is this slow down time. You know, it may seem overkill, but I'm a big fan of. I was saying before in the stream, I'm a big fan of when the gameplay is cinematic. I mean, it's like it looks like you are in a movie rather than you are totally accurate. And you know, yeah, okay, you maybe have 100% accuracy, but we're not gonna make Call of Duty, right? It's just a game in which you need to express your freedom of, you know, doing art with your body, and I don't think accuracy is the right place. I mean, up to a point, of course, you need to be accurate, but to do all the moves, but you know.
I so agree with you. Like I think having played with it now in this element here, and I think the new way we want to approach to do it is going to be even better. But the slowdown for me has been one of the best things we've had, because that I don't know, there's something about it that just makes the moves so much more impactful as well. Like, I don't know, it just makes it almost like, because you know when you say like, oh, if you're in the zone and you're an athlete or whatever, like time kind of slows down for you while you're doing all these stuff, like when you're in the zone. And it sort of gives you that feeling when you're playing it, like, oh, like you're just you're so much more present in that specific moment, and it makes everything you do so much more impactful. Because like, so like when if you slow down time and then you select the jump, you actually get that feeling of being the whole concept of precision, you know what I mean, of trying to be accurate and calm, and you want to land on this exact spot. You actually get that sensation of like, or you have to like focus on where you're landing, rather like, it's sort of like, you know, when you're sniping and you hold your breath, and everything sort of slows down, and then you kind of aim exactly where you want to shoot, and then you fire, and then everything kind of happens again, and it's all crazy. But for that brief moment where you hold the breath on the scope, you feel everything sort of slow, and you actually focus so much more, and you feel what a sniper would feel like. You know, a sniper would be like, oh, the whole world just stops around you. You know, you feel the world slow, and then because you're so focused on the shot. Where here, it's like, as a parkour athlete, I can imagine like when you're trying to stick on that precise spot, you feel everything around you just kind of slow down, and you just hone in on that spot that you want to land on, and then you go, and then you like, oh yeah, land on it, and then you get that sensation of, yeah, I landed it. But it gives you that in-game feeling of like focusing in, which is what precision is really, like you're focusing in on a spot.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think and I think, and we need to convey feelings rather than, you know, scores and stuff.
Scores, yeah. You have to like, and at the end of the day, that's what's gonna make the game most fun to play. Like if you feel, because at the end, when you think about it, like parkour, unlike a lot of other games, it doesn't have the same gameplay elements that, you know, like shooters or, you know, like other racing games or football games have, because it's very much like, because I like reading research on this as well. Like a lot of bad reviews for free running games and other parkour games was like, oh, you know, without the other gameplay elements, you know, it can become easily just like, oh, you're just jumping around. But you have to find a way to, and one of the other things I saw an article someone wrote, and it made sense, to be fair, is that it was that when they produced this like free running game, it's like, although the sport feels really cool, you don't feel any of that in the game. It just feels like you're just jumping around like you would do in
Yeah.
any other game. Whereas like if you want to stand out and like create that kind of, you know, that engagement that you get in other games because of all their gameplay elements like team deathmatch and all that whatnot, or like shooting or being in an army and all that stuff, like you have to tap into the elements of parkour that make it engaging, like the fear, the precisions, the focus, the height, all those kind of things that make parkour interesting to do. You need to capture that in the game, and I think like stuff like slow-mo, that's how you capture it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, this is I like this. I like this. I think I'm just gonna make a note quick so that I have of what we plan to do this. So I don't forget it. But we'll catch up again in more of this. See this.
Oh yeah, and Toby said that technically precision is where you land on 2 feet uh, on the landing point. If you land with 2 feet, is a precision.
Oh, okay.
Which it sort of makes sense. So if you land with 1 feet, then it's like you're running off, right? But then like
Yeah.
if you stick it, then is the precision with a stick that is super cool ultra. Yeah.
So it's a precision mechanic. So what we're gonna have is, so we're gonna say input, precision. So let's say the player will activate precision mode / modifier, then decide, then input jump to do whatever. Then we go into the slow down precision mode before we select jump, and then we allow them. Then the player must select the landing point on the forward vector axis, on the character forward vector axis, within a time limit. When modifier pressed again, or time expired, we take the landing spot and use that to decide on animation to play. Then form jump. So basically, yeah, you activate the precision mode, the modifier, then you add, say, what jump do I want to do? Then we go into that mechanic where it's like, oh, slow down, and you select where your landing point is, and then then we press the modifier again to say, okay, I've selected, or the time is expired, so you have a certain amount of time. Then we take whatever landing spot you're at, and then we use that to decide on what animation to play. So then we can say, if your landing spot isn't valid, you bail, and that's like one way we can have bails as well. Yeah, cool. So if you move that landing spot and it's off a ledge or something, so it's not actually colliding on you know what I mean? It's not actually colliding on an actual stick of landable surface like we see now, then we're going to bail and whatnot. But if it is, then we take the landing spot and then use that to select the animation.
Oh yeah, actually, how do we deal with the failing? So it's just the failing if you're not gonna clear the gap, right?
Yeah, so this is so what I think it is I think the fail needs to be like the landing spot you choose needs to be stickable, basically. So it's like if you're trying to precision on flat ground, yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard to fail. That you won't precision to the point you want. And I think this is again what it is. It's like most of the fails with precision in real life, the main way of failing is like you don't land where you want to, if that makes sense. So if you're trying to land on a very small ledge, you have to basically move that target so that it's exactly on that ledge.
Yeah.
If it's off it, that means like then we do this little trace to say, okay, is the point in which you selected for landing, can you actually land on it? Do you know what I mean? Is it a valid landing point? If it's a valid landing point, then within the threshold, then we do the animation, we select the best animation for it. If it's not a valid landing point, you're going to ragdoll. But if you're on flat ground, you're not going to ragdoll. You know, you're really just going to not land where you want to land. That's the main idea. Whereas then when it becomes when you're up high and you're landing on ledges or certain rails or you know what I mean, then it becomes more of a case of okay, you can ragdoll here because you can overshoot on where you're selecting, undershoot where you're selecting. You know what I mean, things like that. And that's where the fails come in. It's like, are you selecting a landable spot basically?
Yeah, but so basically the ragdoll, I think, you know, before we had the ragdoll, even, you know, if you were running against the wall, then it would just ragdoll, like, yeah. But I think, isn't the ragdoll just the cases in which you're basically dropping off a cliff? I mean, because we got a lot of coverage, like, for a good athlete, he can take a pretty good drop, like 2-3 meters. I mean, they're gonna get injured, but it's not impossible for them to take a drop. And if you're like Dom Tomato, then you can take 10 meters drop probably. But so shouldn't the ragdoll just be like you chose a surface which is way off even for Dom Tomato? Basically, that is our point of reference. But yeah.
So and with this system, it works because you'll only ragdoll if you're trying to land somewhere, or you're trying to land on something that's not landable. So it's basically you're trying to land in midair. So it's like, and that will only occur if you're like trying to land on a ledge or crossing a building. You mean if you're on flat ground, you're never gonna not have a landable spot because anything on flat ground is going to be landable. You know, it's like you just won't land exactly what you want to if you're not precise with your movements of the target point. Whereas now if you're up high, it's a totally different story because now you're not going to be colliding with everything. You know what I mean? If you push it too far off the edge, you're ragdolling and falling off the building. You know, or you miss a rail, you're going to ragdoll and fall over the rail and things like that. So it like when your actual precisions become, you know, like difficult in terms of they're not just a spot on a flat ground, they're like an actual, you know what I mean, like singular spot that you want to land on. That's when the ragdoll comes into account, which is how it would be in real life, you know?
Yeah,
if you miss a rail, you're going to flop.
Yeah. Because I think, like, we are not going to know. Like, let's say that we want to clear a gap and there is an handrail and there is a gap of, you know, whatever, 1 meter on the other side of the rail, right? If you selected the point just after the rail, we don't know if you really wanted to land there or you wanted to land on the rail. So the only time in which we know that you don't want to do it, unless you want to die, is gonna land in the middle of 2 buildings. So I think like the point of failure is determined by you're not gonna make it, right? But I'm thinking, isn't there a way to detect, let's say that, and maybe that is for later, but I think there should be an element that says I wanna cut past precision on that rail, which is 3 meters away there is a rail, and around the rail there are just normal stairs or whatever, right? So we will never know what your intentions are. So maybe shouldn't that be that we could think about having an extra input? Maybe it's too much, but I think that is possibly the most complete way of doing it. You say, okay, I want to cut past there, and that means on that rail. And then if you miss it, then yeah, you're not gonna die, but you are gonna land not on the rail, and that is an actual fail. Because otherwise we will never know that you failed. But it's very hard to do all these inputs in such a slow amount of time, right?
Yeah.
But that is quite, I think that is the holy grail of this all pre stuff, right? Because you really want to land where in your mind you want to, right?
Yeah, but like that's the thing. That's why you have like, I see what you mean. It's just, but if you, like, we give them that timer to select. Okay, well, you have now 3 seconds to put that marker where you want to land in your mind. If you put it to a point where you can't land because the rail isn't there, you're going to fail. Because
yeah, no, but we don't know, because the landing point that you choose might be where you really wanted to go, right?
But if it's not a landable spot, do you mean?
No, but I mean, if it's a landable spot, let's say that there is a rail, there is a series of rails that are only like 2 meters apart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can land anywhere within those 2 meters, and the jump is still gonna be correct, because maybe you just wanted to precision after the rail, but we don't know your real intentions, right?
Wait, I'm confused, because it's like, if you want to like, but their intentions will know based on where they target, if that makes sense. So if you target thin air, like you can't like, I mean, you won't be able to precision to thin air. If you wanted to jump just through the middle of the rail, and land on a certain point that's in the middle of the rail, that would still be encompassed within the targeting threshold. So like, whatever you want to do, we determine it by how we, you know what I mean? Like, so you line it up, and then wherever you want to land, whatever your intention is, you have 3 seconds to tell us what that is. And if you don't do that in enough time, or you select the wrong place or whatever, then whether the outcome is you land somewhere else or you bail, that's your point of failure. That's the point of failure. But we'll always know what they want to do based on where they select to the target to be, if that makes, or that's what I think at least. But I'm confused what you mean.
Yeah, but we don't know. Like, let's say that I think the hard part should be that let's say that actually let's have I'm gonna let's share my screen. Well, I mean, okay, I'm already in the thing. What I'm looking at is something like this. Actually, I think there was a video not so long ago. Yeah, okay, like this one.
Fill your cup with eggnog, come sit over here.
Sorry, getting dark.
Okay, so basically, okay, this point here, right? So Max wanted to land on this rail, okay? But landing after the rail, or even before the rail, it would have been equally okay, because you know, maybe he wanted to land on this platform here, right? So if you don't input your if you input the point where you're gonna land, which is not on the rail, we will never know when you really wanted to land, because we only know where you have chosen to land, right?
Yeah, but that's fine though, isn't it? Because like that is giving them. Do you mean, like, I don't think we need to know. We don't need to know where they want to land. Do you know what I mean? We only need to, like, we'd only want to know where they want to land if we wanted to make them land exactly where every time. But then if we know where they want to land, it takes away their control of actually having to land there. If that makes sense. Like, so we're not bothered with where they want to land. We're only consider like saying, you can land where you want to land, but to do so, you need to input it. If not, we're not concerned with where you want to go. We're concerned with how you target it, and then where you want to go is a result. Is a result of good targeting. If that makes sense. So if you overshoot it and you land elsewhere or on something different, and that's not that's not what you want to do, that's fine. That's we don't consider like what you want to do in that aspect, because it doesn't matter to us, because that is only something that is going to matter to the player. You say like in terms of gameplay, it won't matter because the player will keep changing what they want to do. But it's only rewarding if that is an outcome based on their input to what we do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think that is one of the most important point in having a precision jump, that you really, because Max really wanted to land on the rail. Wherever he landed short or after that, well, short it was a little bit more of an impact, but if he landed not on the rail, he really cared, because his whole purpose of the move was to land on the rail. But we don't have that, because we don't have that information. So what I'm saying is, I think somehow, maybe not now for this first implementation, but somehow we need to have that implementation, because the best player, they're the players that are consistently going to land on the rail. And I think it must be much harder to land on the rail rather than whatever place you could land off, and you'll probably be okay.
So are you saying we want to predict where they want to land in order to make it more difficult to do so?
No, I mean the other way around. The player should notify, okay, I want to do a cat pass pre on that rail, and that is a level of difficulties, because if it doesn't say that, say, okay, I just want to do a pre, and then I don't really care where I land, I'm mostly gonna be okay. But landing on that rail, which is only a few centimeters, is a lot harder, right? So we need to make it rewarding for the player to say, oh look, I wanted to stick on the rail, and I really did it, which is exactly what happens in real life, right?
Yeah. So like, but like, isn't that just, rather than actually saying, oh, like, where do you want to land? We'll like, where do you want to land, and then we take that into account. Isn't that just like, that's just a direct consequence of the player's targeting ability? Like, those that are better players are going to be able to target the rail better, and therefore they'll land on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you're bad at targeting in a precision, you're going to struggle to land on the spots you want to land. So we're playing with maths. We say, okay, I want to do a cat pass pre. Okay, I don't really care where you want to land. I'm the game. I don't care where you want to land. But you say, I want, as a player, so I want to land on that rail. So I need to make sure I target that rail properly. If I'm a bad player, I'm not going to be able to target that rail consistently every time because of X, Y, Z. But if I'm a good player, then I'll be able to target it consistently every time.
Yeah.
And land it, stick it every time. But that comes as a result of my targeting ability, not because I've told the game where I want to. I sort of get what you mean, but I think there needs to be like, rather than it be, oh, you want to land on this rail, we'll make it difficult to land on the rail. I'm also thinking, like, how can we make it harder for you to target the rail, if that makes sense?
Yeah, but
like, just in general.
Just I think, like, in this case is the sheer amount of space that you need to be accurate. I think, like, if this distance target that we have, like between 1 and 5 meters, right? It needs to be very hard to have an accurate placement on that line.
Yeah. Okay.
That
I get you. I'm with you now. You're basically saying targeting shouldn't be very easy.
Yeah.
Like to be precise with your targeting, it needs to be difficult. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, because that is a crucial element of the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because let's say that we want to play a game of skate or horse or the game of parkour, in which you need to do the same move, right? We can't just have that you need to do a cut pass because you cannot fail. So a good game of skate, it will be okay. My move is a cut pass pre on that rail. So you need to nominate that, or otherwise, it's we are missing a whole universe of gameplay elements if we remove the ability to do basically the move that you wanted to do, basically.
I'm just like, I know what you mean, and I think you're right in terms of I agree with you with the we need to make it difficult to be precise in where you land, but I also think we shouldn't I think we need to be careful to not take away the fact that the game is just like free and open. Like, there's no set rule to what you do.
No, totally.
So it's like you just input the move to do, and then based on your, it's very contextual in terms of, you've decided to do a pass over this obstacle in this position. There's a rail there. You can land on it. You know what I mean? That's just that context in that environment, given that circumstance, and that's what makes it feel like a real the player's actually there in the world, rather than the world being crafted to the player. So it needs to make sure that context isn't fabricated in the sense of you're jumping over a rail. That means you're going to be doing one of the jump over rails to stick.
No, exactly. No, is the player that somehow needs to tell the game, not the game that will tell the player. That's totally.
I see what you mean. Yeah, and 100%. We need to figure out a way to make that. You're right to make that precision, being precise with it, difficult, and actually reward. So being precise is rewarded.
Yeah.
But it needs to be difficult to do. Like you said. So if you are in a game of skate, your idea is if I want to actually catch you out, I'm gonna have to be precise here and stick on the rail. And that's not an easy thing to do. Sticking on the specific spot. Unless you're a very good player and you've got the timing down and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. I mean, it's not gonna be easy because in a free shape and free form world, it's not gonna easy to say, I did this move over there, because for us it's only a 3D point and for the game it's only a 3D point in space. It doesn't know that there is a rail there, so. That is the hard part, is how to nominate the surface. I mean, there is a quite easy trick that we can use, is how narrow is the surface of on which you're gonna land, and that is the easiest parameter that I can think of, because if you do the same jump, there is only one surface that's got the same width in there. I mean, it's not 1,000,000% accurate, of course. There are gonna be a lot of cases in which it may be controversial, but we can't tag every single element in the game. It's just there is there is no point.
No, but I know what you mean. Yeah, that's okay. I like this idea. I also like this. I quite like this whole conversation is actually really interesting. I'm actually probably gonna download this Twitch stream and just turn it into a devlog.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or
Yeah.
like the bit where we talk about precisions at least. And it's a bit of a different kind of devlog. It's just more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Podcast vibes.
Yeah, because we need to push it. We need to push it a little bit more. I think we're doing better than before, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think the precision nowadays starts to be extremely interesting.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think once we have precisions in this game, I think it's gonna open up a whole new just a whole new avenue of things. And this is what I mean. There's so many elements that there's still so many elements we're yet to add, and like once you add them, it just opens up the next vault of things to do. Because then you're like, oh, precisions. Now we look at chaining lines together, and now you look at what do you do from a precision? Oh, now we look at different landings and all this stuff. So it just opens up a whole new thing, and then you add okay, now we look at climb ups. Okay, now we look what can you do for climb ups, climb ups to jump off to lines and it just this is one thing that's exciting. There's so many things that just open up more, and then you look at multiplayer. Once multiplayer is added, that's a whole kind of world.
Yeah, that's the end. And then I think the cool thing with all of this is the mechanics that are so particular to real parkour experience that nobody else is doing them. So, and I think that will give the game a lot more depth, because still at the moment we're doing normal stuff, right? You jump around. Yeah, the animations are cool, right? But you basically jump around, right?
Jump around. Yeah.
So once we start introducing things that they're 100% parkour only, and not just that, I think the cool things about it is, apart from maybe you're a bit scared of those names that may not mean anything to you, but once after 5 seconds you know that jumping onto a rail is whoever any kid would want to do it, because it's just cool to jump around. And by adding this mechanic that there isn't in any other game, we really have something a lot deeper than anything else, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. That's awesome. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I think tomorrow I want to smash it. Well, first thing tomorrow, actually, in the morning, I want to edit this and get a devlog episode out, and then once I've done that, I want to crack on this new precision thing.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, that's brilliant. I didn't read the chat for a long time.
Me neither. I wasn't paying. I was too engrossed in the conversation.
Yeah. Is it? How many coffees, Val? 2. In the last couple of hours at least.
In the chat, I don't even know.
So let's see if Max made this jump. Yeah, no, he didn't. So yeah, I think in this case, Max didn't actually. Well, he got over, but he didn't stick it. So yeah, that's definitely a mechanics that we need to have. He didn't want to do that, which was already super cool, but he just wanted to do a little bit more, which is to stick. Yeah. And I think once we got that, we can have. I was thinking when we were talking about that. We can have strides as well.
Oh yeah, and strides. Strides. I think could be done similar, and I think maybe it could even be a case of each stride is a little slow mo on the takeoff as each stride, and then you have to select the next point for the stride and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's a whole that's a whole new mechanic. This is what I mean. Like, there's still so many mechanics that are yet to be actually explored in games. Like this precision mechanic has never really been explored. Neither has like really like just like real like cool. There's so many. I don't know. There's so many elements of parkour that just are yet to be done in games. So now when we're discussing, it's the first. There's nothing to go off of. Oh, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
how do we do this? Hey Norma, hey Val, how are you guys?
We had some people listening at our ramblings, so that's good.
That's what, yeah.
We have proof.
You guys might miss some of the main bulk of the chat. But I think tomorrow I might stream, to be honest, while I do this while I play around with this new.
Exactly. Let's have a stream around this. Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to stream. All right, guys. Then I think that's it. That's it for the next. Actually, today is already tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
So David,
to be fair,
I see you in a couple of hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna to those in the chat as well. If you missed anything, I'm gonna turn what we were talking about into a devlog and put it up because it's quite an interesting talk to be fair. So, but yeah, we'll cover that. Yeah, awesome. I shall see you in a few hours, Dado.
Yeah, exactly.
See you later,
guys. Thank you very much to every owner, and yeah, I'll